guys, welcome to another project, and this one is called Canova. Now it's quite simple in terms of, if you look at the shape, quite standard shape, but we have added a lot of interest and a lot of detail, just like that's pins, and I need to stitch that yet. And I've also shown you in a free video on my YouTube channel how to sew these leather handles onto the fabric. We also learn how to finish this kind of finish with a zipper, which is called a boat panel. And apart from it, we have used a cut and sew zipper inside, and these are all just bias binding and the tape decoration. This one has got a round base. If you find it difficult to attach a round base, you could make this bag a little bit shorter and use that corner finish that I have shown you in tote bag. You can extend the length by 2 inches and go and cut out your corners, and that will work as well. Let's go ahead and get started with this project.
Because we need to attach the handle, the zip, the lining, everything else. Okay, the next step for this one is we need to attach the bottom piece. So as you can see, the bottom piece has got the canvas in the center, and then it has got the seam allowance all around. So now we just go and attach this one. So basically turn it in and fold your bottom panel and make a notch mark at the center on both the sides. And the same way, fold it this way as well and make your notch marks. Okay, so basically we're gonna put the canvas side down. This is the right side of the fabric, and now this is the center. This was in the beginning this was the side seam, but it's not going to be the side seam anymore. It will be the front seam. So we turn, if you can see, these are my flaps. We hold these 2 notches and then turn it this way. So the joins of the seam will become our center seam. So basically bring this seam onto here and place a pin. The same way, we just go pin, pin, pin all around and match each notch. The center notch here needs to match the notch on the main fabric. So basically when you go around, this pattern should fit perfectly. Okay, here is the bottom panel that is attached to the main panel, and if you can see that the canvas is kind of holding and molding the base of the bag already. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and sew just after the canvas all around. So we only take the seam allowance. We don't sew on top of the canvas, but we sew just the ditch in the canvas. So basically the canvas will stay as it is and canvas won't fold. It's only fabric around it will fold and form the base of the bag. Going to place my needle just away from the canvas. I'm not sure if you can see it properly, but I'm just doing my best so the camera could see. Okay, so keep your stitch length to medium, and then take the pins as you go. If you've pinned properly, it's so easy to sew this base. When you come to the turning the corners, this is where it's a little bit tricky, but if you do this a few times, you'll be perfect. When you come to the finishing point, sew over a little extra and then finish. Okay, we have sewn in the base. Now I just want to show you, this is quite common. If you can see, there are a tiny bit of pleats. On this side it's fine because you can see the stitching just around the canvas, but even I have made mistakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unpick 1 or 2 seams and just ease it a little bit and sew over. The best thing to do if you're a beginner, and this side is not so bad, the best thing is, if you're a beginner, just turn this over and see how bad it looks. If the pleating looks really bad, then you might want to remove it. But if the pleating's alright, sorry, I kept saying pleating. what I meant to say was, if the base looks alright, see, the base actually doesn't look too bad. There is a little bit of wrinkles, and I'm going to remove this and rectify it. But for your sake, because of the canvas, can you see it's already stiff and sitting neat? Now what I have also done is I have cut out a template, paper template. This is quite a thick cardboard that's going to go at the base of the bag. So get one of these and put it in the base and see how it fits, because the cardboard template I have cut out is actually minus the seam allowance of the pattern, so that should fit in quite neatly inside. So if that is looking neat, just go ahead, because once you kind of make your bag stand like this, this is hardly seen and hardly noticed. But if you want it to be perfect, then yes, go ahead and remove them seams and then rectify it, and then we go ahead. Now we need to work through the lining. So I need to explain to you about the lining a little bit, because you see lots of notches here. These two top and zipper panels has got 3 notches on either side. Basically these 3 notches need to match, and this is cut on fold. So I have cut on fold here, and these are 2 panels on their own. And you can see there is 2 notches here, and those 2 notches are just a marking. It doesn't have to match perfectly. It will if you start from the top, if you start matching the panel from the top of this to the top of this one. But if it doesn't match, don't worry. This is just to show you that this panel goes to this side, okay? I'm going to keep these side panels aside. So these, I'm going to keep the pattern away. Open this panel up. When you open it up, you can see 6 notches on either side. So basically what we're going to do is attach a zip in here. This is an 8-inch zip. The maximum this can take is probably, if you go 10 inches, it's too far. So if you don't have an 8-inch zip, you can go for 6 inches. But if you go for 6-inch zip, then just make sure that this panel you cut a little bit extra on the side. Because the more you eat in, the smaller the panel is going to be. So if you end up having a smaller zipper, just make sure you cut how many inches smaller. Say for example, if you go for a 6-inch zip, then you cut those 2 inches you're going to lose here. So you're going to have extra on this one, okay? So what I'm going to do, let me just place the zip like that. So I'm going to flip this over and put here on the zip and just go and sew a stitch. And after I've done that, I'm going to flip this one over and sew a stitch. All the while just making sure both the fabrics are matching in this line. Okay, don't worry about making a notch and everything else, because we've got plenty of room in this pattern to get this one right. Okay, we have finished attaching the bottom base of this bag, and the outer is now ready. Now we have to work on the lining. Lining, I have already attached all the panels, and I have used zippers on both the sides. Now this pattern kind of comes with zippers on both the sides. If you don't want zipper on both the side, you want only one zipper inside, don't worry, you don't have to cut and sew like this. Prepare only one panel for your lining. The other panel of the lining without the zipper, all you have to do is take the main panel of your back pattern and then cut this on fold, and that will give you just one panel, so that should be fine. Okay, now what I'm going to do is go and sew my side seams, and then go and sew the base of the lining to this one. I have chosen a canvas fabric which is slightly thicker. If you wanted to, you could go and attach the canvas like we did before, but I don't see the need for it, so I'm just going to use a fabric. So I'm going to prepare all of this, come back and then show you how to insert this lining into the main bag and also close the bag with a zipper. So I have finished attaching the base to my lining, so that's how it looks, but we don't need it this side, so I'm just going to turn the ugly side out. So let's just go ahead and put the 2 bases together. So that's the base of the main fabric, that is the base of the lining, and I'm going to attach the notch to notch and then put a pin. This is basically what it's doing, is it's just going to make sure that the base will sit together properly and it kind of won't come off. Okay, so let me just match the notch to notch here. And now what we do, just go and sew all around. You can just sew only this much, but if you sew all around, it kind of gives you that really solid base where you can put the cardboard in later on. So I have attached the lining. Now I'm just going to pull this out. So the best way to kind of make sure the base is sitting right like this would be just to put some fillers in. That way you will know that if you have any excess lining standing on here, because when it's sitting like this, it's quite easy to kind of pull your lining thinking, oh, I've got a little bit extra, but you wouldn't know. In my case, I think there's a little bit extra here, so I'm going to put some filling in and then find out. Okay, I've put some filling in, and I think my lining is a little bit extra, so I'm just going to pin all around. Okay, before we go ahead and close the opening of the bag, we need to prepare the zipper panel. This zipper panel is different from all the others I have shown you in the past. Basically, I had to go and make some changes to the zipper panel with this cut here because I'd forgotten that, and I have also made that change in the pattern. So if you're buying the pattern will be complete and they all fit perfectly. So basically you cut this on fold and you cut the canvas exactly same as your pattern, but then at the bottom side of the panel you just cut the seam allowance off, and then you attach this canvas into the main fabric. Okay, so basically what we're going to do, we're going to work on this one. Here is my zipper. And this is a little bit different. I have got an open end zipper. It doesn't matter, you can have a closed end zipper. If you buy a closed end zipper, try and make it longer because we can trim this off whatever we don't need. But don't go and buy the exact same size of a closed end zipper because it just kind of creates lots of issues while trying to finish it neatly. So I'm just going to open it a little bit, and then let's just put it this way. What we're going to do, we're going to fold the seam allowance because the canvas is so stiff. You can go and iron it if you need to. So fold the seam allowance and then place it close to the zipper teeth, as close as you want to go. Don't go too close, probably about there. And that is the beginning of the zipper. Now you can see that I have given almost like 3/4 of an inch away. We need 1/2 inch for the seam, but then we need a little bit of gap so that, you know, it's not kind of coming in the way of the starting point. There's a metal end there. So basically we just go and sew all the way from there till the end. Leave this extra here, and then once we've done that, we are going to go and start at the same point at this side and go and sew this as well. Okay, we're going to start sewing a little bit away from the starting point, which is about 3/4 of an inch away. So I'm just going to fold and keep my zipper there, and I've changed my foot to the zipper foot, and we go all the way till the end and finish. And now we just close the zipper before we start off again, because we need to match this part very accurately. So I'm just going to match this and place my fabric right onto there, because it's important you match this properly. And somewhere when you start coming towards the beginning, I would lift my presser foot up and slide the zipper away because this is going to be in the way, and I just go and sew. Okay, so now we have sewn in the zipper panel. Now you can see that the beginning and the end matches neatly. These lines need to match perfectly like a rectangle. It's very important. If you made it up and down, go ahead and rectify it at this stage, because otherwise you're going to end up in lots of problems. Okay, so if we turn it around, you can see the raw edges of the single layer of the main fabric is still around. So what we're going to do, we are just going to trim it ever so slightly, not a lot, but probably between 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so I have trimmed all the edges, so there's still 1/4 of an inch inside, but that will still fray when you use it. So what we need to do is if you open the bag, it just needs to look very neat. So let's measure the zip from the teeth. So from the teeth to here, it's about 1.3 to 1.4 cm, or exactly like 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do is go and sew another stitch, like a parallel stitch, away from the first stitch, so it goes all the way till the end. So what happens is this raw edge is going to bind that stitch and you won't see it. So basically I've put the matching thread on the top and a black thread at the bottom, so we don't see that second stitch at the bottom here.
Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this version of Canova. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. I shall see you next time.